These are the killing fields, where 1 in 4 Cambodians were wiped out by famine, torture, and execution, by the cruel indifference of Pol Pot. This is Chairman Mao's China, where 45 million people starved to death. Things got so bad that the weak ones, children, the elderly, became food, eaten by their neighbors. Pol Pot and Mao both claimed the best of intentions. They promised a better society, a new world of abundance, to each person according to their need. They were going to build utopias by planning things out from the top down. So what went wrong? How did these separate attempts at a socialist paradise end up slaughtering millions of people? Pride goes before a fall, and nowhere does humanity fall harder than under the leadership of someone who thinks he knows better than everyone else, the man with a plan. But they ignore what they don't know, what no human could conceivably know. This is what F.A. Hayek calls the fatal conceit. What do these 4 men have in common? They were all credited as the last man to know everything. It wasn't that long ago when it was thought that a single mind could know everything because human knowledge was so limited. But today, with so much to know, we've actually become more ignorant. It's more impossible to conceive of one person knowing everything. This great Austrian economist Friedrich Hayek says, the more men know, the smaller the percentage that any single man can know. This is a common mistake made by socialists and other advocates of central planning. They think that as society evolves and humans learn more, it becomes easier to centralize that knowledge and use it to plan institutions. In fact, the opposite is true. While a central planner might have been able to grasp most of what was known 1,000 years ago, no one today could ever hope to come close. This is what Hayek considered the fundamental problem with central planning. The knowledge problem. Of course, knowledge is not limited to science or facts or anything tangible. A lot of it is personal knowledge of time and place, things that you and I can't even articulate.
The market enables us to extend our ability to talk to each other into all kinds of ways that we can't put into numbers or into words, right? It enables us to have this sort of extra-linguistic communication. Because not everything that we know about the world are things that we can put into numbers and into words. We have inarticulate knowledge where we have hunches, we have guesses. Entrepreneurs who've been in business for a long time know things that they can't always articulate. Yet buying and selling enables them to make that knowledge available to other people.
Hayek, in a way, before the internet, knew that there already was an internet of sorts at work in society through sharing of information, through our capacity to communicate with each other, and the institutions that emerge out of that. Not just prices, not just money, but our mores, our manners, our habits, our superstitions, all the things we share that make life work and make it beautiful. That emerges not because it was passed by some politician or legislation.
Think about all the personal knowledge, things that only you know. Your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations for your family. These are things that can't be known by anybody else. But central planners want to reduce all of that knowledge into a number, into an equation, into pieces of a puzzle so that they can manipulate us from the top down. It does not work because this knowledge, to be meaningful, has to stick with people. It has to stick with you and me.
Many critics of socialism said that the choice is not a plan versus no plan, but whose plan? Is it going to be one plan superimposed through the power of government authority on everyone in the society, or is each individual going to have the latitude and liberty to make his own plans concerning his own life, his values, his goals, to give meaning and purpose to it.
The idea that we can somehow do better than the market through some form of collective, rational planning of economic activity simply doesn't work. And it doesn't work because there's no way for one group or one person to acquire all the knowledge that they would need to have.
The economy is actually an ecosystem that is populated by billions of individuals who have free will. And there's no way to predict what they're going to do. And what they do, of course, is they keep on, the central planners keep on pouring in all the chemicals, which end up killing the ecosystem.
The problem with a single central plan is that if it goes wrong in a big way, as we will soon see. But when planning is decentralized, mistakes happen and are corrected. Like the mythical Hydra, every head that is chopped off is replaced by 2 more, and every plan that doesn't pan out is backed up by thousands more. One of the most famous critiques of socialism by economist Ludwig von Mises points to the price system as an example of how planning happens without government involvement, and how attempts to centralize that planning process always fail.
And Mises said, okay, Mr. Central Planner, you've now nationalized the economy. It's now your responsibility to determine what gets produced, in what quantities, how, to whom it will be distributed. How will you make such decisions in a rational and efficient way that reflects the interests and the desires of the members of the society? And Mises' answer was, they couldn't do this.
When you see a price on something, that single number actually captures a huge amount of information, from the scarcity of the raw materials used, to the amount of labor needed to create the final product, to the relative benefit of all the alternative things that producer could have done with his time and money. As a consumer, you don't need to know any of these details. You just look at the price and decide whether or not to buy. Your decision, along with those of everyone else, provides information that tells producers what to make. But imagine there were no prices, and a central planner was in charge of allocating resources. How would he know what to produce? Or how much? Without prices, there would be no way to know how to direct production. The Soviet Union attempted to solve this problem with an elaborate system of quotas. Since there was no way to ensure that the quotas matched what people actually wanted, shortages and surpluses were a constant problem. Machinery was left to rust, unused, while families starved as food was underproduced. Prices, derived from millions of interactions and preferences, tell us what people want and in what quantities. That knowledge, by its very nature, can't be centralized in one place. The only way it works is for each of us to make our own decisions in the process of working things out. Unfortunately, this was not always so obvious.